أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, the most merciful, all praises due to Allah, and may His peace and blessings be upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I begin by greeting all of my brothers and sisters, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessings of Allah be upon you and upon your loved ones. And a belated Ramadan Mubarak to you, to your community, and to your loved ones. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless us in this month and in the coming time of whatever time we have left in this world for us and for our loved ones, Ya Rabbil Alameen. This is indeed a unique Ramadan. I don't like to say that it's difficult. I don't like to say that it's strange. I just love to say that it is unique and it is whatever we make out of it. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who are successful in this month of Ramadan. Ya Rabbil Alameen. Celebrating our families during the month of Ramadan. You know, to a good number of us, maybe Ramadan is the only time that we really get exposed to the Quran, either by listening to it in Taraweeh or by trying to have our khatam, our completion of the recitation of the Quran on our own. But subhanAllah, every time you read the Quran, the more you give the Quran gives you back. And there is this. I'm fascinated by what paradise looks like in the hereafter. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all amongst the people of paradise, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And if you ask the average person, what does paradise look like according to the Quran? I think that a good number of us would jump into saying a lot about the physical joy that is in paradise. There will be this to eat, there will be this to drink, there will be this to wear, the climate will be like this, and the weather will be like that, which is all true. But that's not necessarily the only description of paradise that is given in the Quran. And there are two that I absolutely love, and we will focus on one of them, inshallah. The first one is the most common description of paradise in the Quran is a psychological and an emotional well-being. In over 10 places in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises believers, you make it to paradise, لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. In it, people shall have no fear and they shall not grieve. There will be no anxiety, there will be no depression, there will be no mood disorders whatsoever. You cannot take joy in the physical leisure that's around you if mentally you are not in a sound place. So the Quran says that you will indeed be in the most mental sound state in order for you to enjoy paradise. And then the other description of paradise that I just absolutely love is paradise, according to the Quran, is also a place for family reunions. Families, we are told in the Quran, get together in paradise. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gather us with our families and our loved ones in the hereafter, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And I've got to love this description of paradise that in the Quran, that these things are taken into consideration. Because our joy is actually doubled in the presence of the people that we like. And those who are closest to us, of course, are our families, parents and children and extended families and spouses. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of one thing that happens in paradise is there's going to be family reunions and family togetherness. And I tell you that this is something that we hope to celebrate in the hereafter. But this is also something that we really need to be celebrating as we are in this world. Families are to be celebrated, my brothers and sisters. And we need to come together as a family. And what this unique Ramadan has done for us is that it has given us this unique opportunity to stay with our families the long period that we have. And interestingly speaking, research that is coming out of China or where the lockdown is being lifted They're talking about an increase in the number of divorce, for example, that took place. And people ask why. People study sociology and human behavior, and counselors and therapists. We're asking these questions like, why is this happening? And a good number of people are tempted to say, well, it's because of all the time that the people spent together. And you cannot help but ask yourself, why is that a bad thing? If people are spending a lot of time together, why is that bad? And what the research is suggesting is that even though it might be tempting to say that it is the prolonged time, and it is not just a prolonged time, it is the prolonged uninterrupted time is the factor, we say actually no. See, what happens is the research is finding out that the projection of or the trajectory of the family is more important as a factor than the uninterrupted prolonged time that the family is staying together. In other words, if that family was going to, the trajectory, the direction that the family was taking, is that they were going to get divorced in, let's say, 2 years. That was the direction that the family was heading to. And now comes this lockdown. So what the lockdown did is that it did not cause that divorce, it only accelerated it because that is the direction that the family was already heading to. And remember, the trajectory does not always have to be bad. It can also be good. If people got married and they said that they were going to have a kid in about 2 years, now all of a sudden, because that's where the trajectory was going to, now we have this idea of it's happening sooner because this prolonged uninterrupted time just accelerated that process. So we want to make sure that we create a healthy atmosphere for our families to actually be celebrated. And that is why I would like to share, few pointers as far as how to celebrate our families and celebrate this idea of togetherness. So, number one, please keep in mind that there is no one type of togetherness. What we are experiencing right now is a lot of physical togetherness. And that is just people being together in one place for a long time. That is one aspect of togetherness. It is not the only aspect of what it means to be together. There are at least about 7 or 8 different types of togetherness. Just to give you a few examples, there is also emotional togetherness, and that is people who are attuned to each other's emotions. People can sense how somebody is feeling. And once, of course, you sense how somebody is feeling, the whole notion is that you want to come for the support of that person. But the attunement is where it all begins. That we are actually aware. We have the insight. We have the emotional togetherness of how the other person is feeling. And you've got to love this about how the Prophet ﷺ, gave that example. It said that one time the Prophet, peace be upon him, was speaking to his wife Aisha. He said, Aisha, he said, I can tell when you are upset with me and when you are pleased or happy with me, which is really, really interesting. And inquiring, how do you know that? Or how would you know that, Prophet Allah? And the Prophet ﷺ said, when you are not very happy with me, you tend to swear by saying Wa Rabbi Ibrahim. When you recall the name of Allah, or you want to swear by Allah, you say by the Lord of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And when we are in good terms, you tend to say Wa Rabbi Muhammad, by the Lord of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And that's when Aisha smiled and she said, Ya Rasulullah, إنما أهجر اسمك فقط. He said, Prophet of Allah, it is only your name that I part myself from. Meaning that I just don't say your name, but my feelings towards you do not really change. But you have to love and appreciate this idea of the emotional attunement that people experience with one another, because there is physical and now there is emotional togetherness that is taking place. And please do not belittle this notion of emotional togetherness. You know, when people are so close to us and they are able to um, either get our hint or sense that we are not doing well, and subhanAllah, that is just one of the most beautiful ways to connect with one another. Again, going back to an example from the Sunnah and the Seerah, is during that very difficult time that Aisha radiallahu anha was going through and all kinds of accusations were taking place. She tells this story and she said, I'm in the midst of all these accusations that lasted for a month. She said that a woman of the Ansar, a woman of the residents of Medina, she came to me. And here's how Aisha describes the event. She said, Wallahi la a'arif ismaha. By Allah, I do not know her name. I just don't know what her name is. Wallahi lam taqul kalima. By Allah, when she came in, she did not utter a word to me. She did not say a word to me. وإنما جلست وجعلت تبكي عندي. All she did is that she just sat there next to me and she cried along with me. And then Aisha comments about this and she said, Wallahi la ansaha laha. And by Allah, I will never forget what this woman has done to me. And here we are sitting saying, what did she do? She didn't even say a word. She just sat there and she cried, and you won't forget what she did to you? Yes, because there was that sense of emotional attunement. Imagine that, somebody could just come and say, look, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what kind of words, would work for you. But all I know is that you are in pain, and the least that I can do is just cry along with you. We have a good cry together. The woman asks permission and she leaves. And Aisha said, I don't know her name. She did not say a single word. All she did was she sat there and she cried along with me. And I will never forget what that meant. That's really, really beautiful. So remember that families are not just all about physical togetherness, but it's also about emotional togetherness as well. So please do not belittle asking each other, how are you doing? And genuinely wanting to learn more about one another, be it how your day is going, your work, your academics. And these are all different ways that we want to connect with one another emotionally. So please remember to invest time as part of our celebration of our families, is this idea of um, emotional togetherness. We also have Ramadan offers us another opportunity, and that is spiritual togetherness, for people to grow together as a family. Remember, we want to experience that growth, but we want to do it collectively as well. And the Prophet ﷺ would speak about families praying together. He ﷺ would say, or the Prophet ﷺ would be leading Salah, and then all of a sudden he hears a child crying, and the Prophet ﷺ expedites and accelerates the Salah, and it becomes very noticeable that everybody is feeling the speed by which the Prophet ﷺ is conducting the prayers. The prayers are over and people inquire and they say, Prophet of Allah, the Salah was exceptionally very fast today. What happened? And then the Prophet ﷺ said that he heard a child cry, and he knew that the mother would want to attend to the child. So the Prophet ﷺ accelerated, expedited the process so that that mother can attend to the child. This idea of, yes, we were, it was a spiritual experience that was, enjoyed or experienced by the whole family. And the Prophet ﷺ would want to honor something like this. And these are just really, really beautiful, because these are beautiful human aspects that sometimes we miss to point out when we speak of the Sunnah or when we speak of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is also what we call recreational togetherness. And that is basically where families have fun together. And I know this sounds like a foreign concept sometimes, unfortunately, but that is actually part of togetherness, where people experience recreationally the idea of fun collectively. Not I with my friend and her with her friends and the boys and the girls, everybody with their friends. No, everybody's having their own type of fun. Yes, alhamdulillah. But then they say that this idea of the creation of togetherness as a family unit, where just people just really enjoy each other's company, and that company is actually a fun company. You've got again to love the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be praying, and then he would take so long in the act of sujood, prostrating, that the people behind him they become very worried. Maybe something happened to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as in the hadith of Salama, she said that I felt that my nose is about to break, and then only to get up and find out that a baby, Shayma or Umama was using the back of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a slide, and she would get on his back and she would slide, or was it Al Hassan or Hussein? I don't remember. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam just stayed and remained in that position because the kids were loving this, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would not want to interrupt that something like this was taking place, and is as if the Prophet ﷺ did not want them to bring their fun to an end. Or Al Hassan and Hussein would come, and the Prophet ﷺ would get down on his knees and hands, and they would get on his back, and they would start calling him Jamal, Jamal, Camel, Camel, move Camel, or as we would say, horsey, horsey. And the Prophet ﷺ would laugh back, and he would smile, and he would say, Ni'mal Jamalu Jamalukuma. Indeed, fortunate is the one who is honored to be your camel. You've got to love these things. Or the Prophet ﷺ would be, on an expedition, and there is a caravan, and the Prophet ﷺ asks the caravan, everybody just move on, and he, you know, is laid back with his wife Aisha radiallahu anha. And then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells Aisha, let's race. And the Sunnah says that they did this twice. And one time the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam won, and the other time, Aisha won radiallahu anha. But again, it goes back to the whole idea of recreational togetherness, and that is a family coming together to have that type of fun. Anyway, there is also academic togetherness. There is professional togetherness, meaning that it's not just one way that we physically come together, but there are different aspects of what it means to you know to come um, to come together. And now also, having gone through what we are going through nowadays, I think it is also very vital to speak as to the type of things that really would make a big, huge difference in our family. Subhanallah, subhanallah. The lockdown, we're also seeing an increase in cases of domestic violence, for example. Unfortunately, child abuse, really, really bad. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us and save our families from all of this. Ya Rabbal Alameen. Really speak about the importance of gentleness, my brothers and sisters. This is so vital, and it is so important, especially given the circumstances that the people are going through, and especially with younger people, the older people, just with everybody. It is so important that we all ought to be gentle and calm. It is an attitude that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. It's a character that is very, very pleasant. As we are told by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Inna Allah rafiq, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gentle, and He loves gentleness in all affairs. That we do what we do, but with the sense of gentleness. One of my favorite hadiths is where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, and he said, Inna Allah إذا أحب أهل بيت أدخل عليهم الرفق. That when Allah loves a household, when Allah loves a family, He sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that He said that one indication would be that Allah introduces that family to a sense of gentleness, a sense of calmness. And that is just incredible. Like almost like if you want to know how loved our family is, we want to look into how much gentleness is displayed in that family. Or the other narration says, إن الله إذا أراد بأهل بيت خيرا أدخل عليهم الرزق. That when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends good for any household, Allah introduces gentleness in their midst. We have got to be gentle, especially towards each other, all the time, to the best of our ability. Not sometimes, no man, we want to be gentle to the best of our ability, subhanAllah, to all the people, all the time. And please remember that gentleness is not a virtue or a quality or a character of the weak. Wallahi, to the contrary, only strong people are capable of being gentle. See, every jerk out there is very easy to be crude, to be rude, and to be cruel. Every Joe and Mo, every jerk is capable of doing this simply because it takes no effort. Gentleness, however, is really the quality of the mighty. It is the quality of the strong. What is it about gentleness? Gentleness is the best way to diffuse conflict. Wallahi, the best way to diffuse conflict is to be gentle. As it has been said, that two people were arguing, and one was being very gentle, and the other one was just being absolutely rude. And the ruder that person became, the gentler and the calmer that person became, and that person goes their way. And as they are about to leave, somebody making an observation, he came to this guy and said, "Excuse me, sir." He said, "That guy was so rude to you, but you treated him like a gentleman. How come?" And the man said, "I treated him like a gentleman because I am one." And that is very telling. Why is this? Because, see, gentleness is what we call an unconditional grace. It is an unconditional virtue. Meaning what? Meaning that I don't say, "I'll be nice as long as you're nice to me. I'll be kind as long as you're kind to me." Check it out. Being kind to those who are already kind to us does not make us kind. Being gentle to those who treat us with gentleness does not make us gentle. Similarly, if we laugh when somebody tickles us, does not necessarily mean that we have a good sense of humor. It doesn't. He said, truly our sense of gentleness and kindness is tested and examined when the other person is seemingly not worthy of gentleness or of kindness. To give an example, he said that in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was burying one of his disciples, one of his companions, ﷺ. And as they're digging the grave, you can just imagine, like, this is really sad. Somebody just passed away and they're digging the grave, getting the grave ready. When a member of the Jewish community comes in, and out of nowhere he starts yelling, "Ya Muhammad, Ya Muhammad, رد علي مالي فإنكم يا بني عبد المطلب قوم مطلب." Muhammad, pay me back, man. I know your family, the family of Abd al-Muttalib, they delay paying back their debts even though they had the ability to do so. It was a very rude statement. It was made in a yelling, very hostile tone, and the place and the time was just absolutely not appropriate for it whatsoever. And everybody's really upset with this one. It's like, can't you see what is going on? And the Prophet ﷺ tells everybody to just calm down, people. Just calm down. Then he asks Umar ibn Khattab to go and give this man what he's asking for. And on the way, you can just tell that Umar really wants to beat up on this guy because he's just being so rude to the Prophet sallallahu. And then the man holds the hands of Umar and he says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness that none is worthy of worship but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is indeed his final messenger. Now Umar was open. He said, "What are you talking about?" And the man said, "I have read the descriptions of this upcoming messenger, and I saw that all the details they apply to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but there was one that I wanted to personally test." And he said, "What is it?" And he said that مَزْدَادَ الْجَاهِلُ عَلَيْهِ جَهْلًا إِلَّا ازْدَادَ حِلْمًا. He said that the more foolishly the foolish behave towards him, the gentler and the calmer he becomes. And he said, "I knew what I was doing was rude. I knew what I was doing was unacceptable." He said, "That was just the perfect time for me to test whether he is really who he claims to be or or not." And again, we've got to love this character of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we say that gentleness is really important because gentleness is the best way to diffuse conflict. See, if you yell and I yell back at you, I am just adding fuel to the fire. So gentleness, what gentleness does, it diffuses conflict in the best of ways. Subhanaka ya Rabbi, subhanaka. Gentleness is the best way to diffuse conflict. Not more yelling, not hitting, not threatening, not physical violence, not verbal abuse, not profanity, not vulgar language, but rather it is gentleness that diffuses conflict. And like I said, especially nowadays, see what happens nowadays is that we are spending a lot of time together, and usually with time comes a lot of interaction, and with interaction comes the possibility of conflict and of friction. So what happens is that we don't want the friction and the conflict to be how our family is defined, but we say like, look, there is friction, and sometimes yes, there is conflict, but the best way that we can diffuse conflict is by using gentleness. My absolute favorite story. Um, it said that this woman is going into the grocery store, and she's pushing the cart, and her daughter is just having a tantrum, 4 or 5 year old daughter. And she's just driving the cart, and the daughter is screaming and yelling, and all mom is saying is, "It's okay, Stacy, it's okay, honey, it's almost over, just few more minutes, we're almost done, baby." And the daughter is just not having any of it. She is just screaming, she is yelling, trying to pull moms, and all mom is saying is, "It's okay, baby, Tracy, we're almost done, honey, we're almost there, almost just few more minutes and we're done, Tracy." And this man is looking at this interaction between the mom and the daughter, and he's just absolutely amazed by how calm mom is despite of the way that the daughter is behaving. So she continues to tell Stacy that everything is okay and it will be over, and she checks out and she pays and she's about to leave when the man approached her and he said, "Ma'am," he said, I just want to express my appreciation to your demeanor and to your calmness. It just didn't matter what your daughter was doing, but you kept telling her, 'It's okay, Stacy, it's okay, honey.'" And that's when mom started laughing and she said, "She's not Stacy. I am Stacy." So she was doing what we call self-talk, but it was gentle self-talk. So rather than directing it at the kid who was misbehaving, or just a kid being a kid, she was talking to herself. Maybe right now she's not going to be the recipient of that gentleness, but let's see if I can, direct that gentleness towards me. And she kept saying, "It's okay, Stacy," and what have you. So gentleness is one of the best ways to diffuse conflict. And by the way, also interestingly, they're finding out that because of the lockdown and the kids are staying at home for the long time that they have, because remember that children at an early age, they love routine, they love predictability, because When there is no predictability, that we become anxious, we become worried about what's going to happen, or we become bored because we don't know what's going to happen. So what they found out is that some of these kids are going through a phase of regression. What does that mean? So developmentally, kids move from one stage to another. They learn this, they're able to crawl, and then they're able to walk, and then they're able to run, and so on. So regression is when a kid comes back to a phase that they have already passed. So it's very common a 2-year-old kid who is able to run and walk on their own when they have a new baby brother or baby sister, and that baby brother or baby sister is crawling. And one way of that 2-year-old kid who's able to walk, one way for them to get attention would be to crawl along with this baby. Okay, so we refer to this as regression, and sometimes second birth can also be a cause of regression for kids who are too young. At any case, so with the lockdown and the absence of routine, what they found out is that some kids are going through regression, and one common regression that the kids are experiencing is bed wetting, for example. Kids just wetting their bed. And you say, but wait a minute, we dealt with this. We dealt with this, 2 years ago, and we haven't had an accident, and so on. And again, the best way to handle all of these things is not by shaming the child, is not by publicly announcing it in front of everybody else, but Allah subhanAllah, just simple acts of gentleness, subhanAllah, they will just go a long way. So, as we are wanting to celebrate our families, please remember that one of the best ways is to always see that we practice gentleness in our midst. Gentle people are pleasant people. We love gentle people. They're positive people. And they are easily liked and they're easily loved. And of course, that the best and the most immediate expression of gentleness is us paying attention to the words that we use in our household. Brothers, one of the best ways to celebrate our families is to celebrate the gift of speech. We must make the best use of the gift of speech. Why is this important? The Quran instructs us to do that. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Tell my servants to only say that which is best. Ahsan. It's a superlative form. Allah does not just say that which is good. No, say that which is best. That which is best. You know how we say Asma'ullah al-Husna, the most beautiful names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we use that word al-Husna. Well, part of the covenant that Allah took with the Israelites, Allah ta'budu illallah wa bil walidayni ihsana, that you worship none but Allah, that you be dutiful to your parents, that you take care of the orphans, that you take care of the needy, that you take care of those who are. And then Allah says, وَأَن تَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. And that when you speak to people, you only say that which is best. And immediately after that, Allah says, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Give charity and perform your prayers, establish your prayers, and give charity. And that is one way that the Quran points out to the importance of something by by making the order interesting. So here Allah tells us that we should speak, or the covenant says to speak with splendid words, with good words, with the best words before the Quran speaks about establishing salah. One thing scholars say is that whether you establish salah or not, that is something that either benefits you or harms you. But the kind of words that you use either with me or against me, they can really lift up my spirit or they can crush my spirit. And as believers, we do not be the cause. We do not want to be the cause of crushing people's spirits, especially those who are around us, and especially those whom we claim to love. We cannot crush their spirits by the words that we utter around them. A believer is deliberate. A believer is considerate. A believer is thoughtful. prior to us doing anything or saying anything, we want to make sure that our words are positive. They are words of encouragement, words that are uplifting. That is the kind of words that we want to use, because that will be the first expression of a gentle soul. A gentle soul does not like to be a cause of pain for anybody. Anybody that claims to have a gentle soul can never be a source of pain to those who are around them. And I love the teachings of Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib. Beautiful, beautiful words. He said, من لانت كلمته زادت محبته. Whosoever is gentle and soft with the words that they use, he said those who are around him or her, effortlessly, they are able to fall in love with this individual. You know, that is like the best type of love. It is the love that comes effortless. You know, it's like, I don't need to fight my soul in order to love this person. I don't need to overlook so many things in order to love this person. Please continue to do that. What we're talking about, the most consistent, the longer lasting type of love is the type of love that on our part we smoothly fall into it simply because of how the other person is. And here Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib is telling us, من لانت كلمته زادت محبته. Whosoever pays attention to their words, that only good comes out of them, only positivity and encouragement comes out of them, that even when they are about to correct, subhanAllah, they do it so beautifully. And then the last point, inshallah, and we conclude with this, you know, another aspect of gentleness, especially in a family setting, as we are trying to celebrate our families, is this idea of what is it about gentle souls? What do they do? Correction before, or connection before correction. I love this. Connect before you correct. And once we do that, subhanAllah, the correction becomes easier. The recipient of our feedback, you know, they take it beautifully. That, you know what, and to so many people, subhanAllah, this is just a second nature that they have developed this, that it literally just became their second nature, which is so beautiful. Gentle souls and gentle people, they connect before they correct. And again, that is crucial in a family setting, that this is something that we want to do. That we want to connect before we correct, because at that point our correction is reciprocated, it is accepted, it is implied or applied, and it will not cause further harm. And subhanAllah, again, when we do this, we will say that, look, my family is really important, and I do want to celebrate that. Um, I do want to celebrate that with them. So these were some of the thoughts that I just wanted to share with my brothers and sisters. But please, inshallah, during this time also make sure that we create a safe place for our family members. Meaning that it's okay to feel bad, it's okay to feel bored, it's okay to feel anxious, it's okay to feel just really sick and tired of what is going on, because that is natural. And remember, when we are acknowledging these feelings, we're not necessarily encouraging it. We're just saying that, look, it is natural that people feel bad, or they feel bored, or they're feeling anxious, or they're just feeling stuck. It is natural. And again, please remember, acknowledging is not equal encouraging. I'm saying it really does happen. So what we do is that we create a safe place for people to actually express these things. And again, this Ramadan can be a really, really, subhanAllah, unique opportunity. The final thing is that tonight is the 10th night of Ramadan. In other words, believe it or not, 1/3 of Ramadan is gone, subhanAllah. It is just unbelievable that actually tonight is the 10th night. Wallahi, I remember I would get emails telling me 100 days for Ramadan. You know, it's a month for Ramadan. And then all of a sudden, Ramadan is just really going away. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who have succeeded in the first 10 nights of Ramadan. And if we have not, we still have time to make up and we still have time to catch up. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those kind of people, Ya Rabbal Alameen. If any of us or our loved ones is not doing well, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them a speedy recovery, Ya Rabbal Alameen. If any of our loved ones has passed away, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless their souls. If any of us or our loved ones are going through some difficult times, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ease our pain, Ya Rabbal Alameen. If any of us or our loved ones have lost our way, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beautifully bring us back to His path till the very last day, Ya Rabbal Alameen. May we be of those who have been accepted during this month of Ramadan, Ya Rabbil Alameen. And Ya Rabbi, may this Ramadan be the best Ramadan that ever happened to us. May inshallah this coronavirus thing pass us, pass our loved ones, our brothers and sisters in humanity, our brothers and sisters in faith. May it pass through us, Ya Rabbil Alameen, with the utmost ease and with the least damage, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Arhamar Rahmeen, Ya Allah. And for all of our brothers and sisters who are oppressed in any part of the world, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lift away this oppression from them, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and bring them peace. Jazakum Allah khair for allowing us into your families for these minutes. And I just want to appreciate what Al Rashid Mosque is doing, even though we are unable to physically be together, but alhamdulillah, virtually we are together. Inshallah, one day, very, very soon, inshallah, we will all be physically together, inshallah, and we can enjoy that physical and spiritual and emotional togetherness. Until then, please be safe. Please stay at home. Only leave when you absolutely have to, so that you and your loved ones are safe. Jazakumullah khair. Ramadan Mubarak to you again. And I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.